Hello, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, and welcome to a new video on the channel. With the NBA and college season just wrapping up, I wanted to do my NBA mock draft 1.0 to help predict what could happen at the draft in a month. And the Dallas Mavericks land the #1 overall pick. That would just be insane. With a 1.5% chance to land it. Is Nico Harrison's job saved after this? Is trading Luka Doncic all worth it? I mean, those are some big questions after this. This would change the NBA. And the Sixers also drop 3 spots, and fall out of having their pick. Wow. This would be crazy. Now let's get to the draft. And here we go for the Dallas Mavericks. I think this is a no-brainer pick. And it's just Cooper Flagg here. National Player of the Year. One of the best freshmen we've seen. Maybe since Zion Williamson in college. Back another Duke player. And yeah, this would be very interesting. Alongside AD would be an elite defensive duo. And man, this team could 100% win it all next year with Cooper Flagg as kind of a connecting piece to bring this all together. If Kyrie's fully healthy for the playoffs next year, I mean, yeah, I think this could be one of the title favorites next year. And Cooper Flagg, man, this team would be scary next year. With the #2 pick, the Brooklyn Nets are on the board. There is a pretty consensus #1 and #2. And that's going to be Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper, for a pretty bad Rutgers team this year, was a really huge standout. 19 points, 4 assists, 4.6 rebounds. He's an elite rim scorer, elite playmaker. You got some questions about maybe his shot. I think he can definitely develop into a top-end point guard at his peak. And for Brooklyn, I mean, you don't really have a true point guard. I mean, D'Lo is obviously not in your future plans. Cam Thomas, I don't think is the future at point guard. I think this would also be a huge pick for Brooklyn here, landing that true playmaker that they've been looking for a while. And here we go, it's the 3rd overall pick. The Washington Wizards have an interesting choice here. After Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, there's a pretty big fall off on who the next consensus guy is. And this Wizards team's not going to be competing anytime soon. I don't think they're going to be drafting on floor. I think it's definitely going to be more of a ceiling pick. And this team needs shooting. They drafted Alex Lar. I don't know if his shot's ever going to develop, but I mean, if he can turn into a stretch 5, that'd be huge. Obviously an elite defender. Ace Bailey could just develop into a monster eventually. Just elite shot-making abilities. 6'10", 200 pounds. He has an amazing frame, height, and he can knock down some tough shots. KD-esque, obviously, is what everyone's comparing him to. But, I mean, there is some questions about his shot diet and his defense, but at 6'10", I think he could definitely develop. Alongside having Alex Lar as your partner in that front court, I mean, I think he develops into a really good defender, being 6'10", and with his weight. No-brainer pick for the Wizards, I think, here at #3. And #4, the Raptors jumped up. And this is interesting for them. I mean, obviously, their 2 biggest needs right now are obviously point guard and center. I mean, you have great wings, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett. Maybe Emmanuel quickly can turn into this true point guard that this team needs. Anyways, I still think there's a very glaring need at center. And come on. Well, he wasn't great in that final game. I mean, he's 7'2". He picked up basketball when he was 13 years old. Very late. And he's 7'2", 250. And he has the potential to be like his top 5 rim protector at his peak. And just an elite defender. He bullies his way to the rim. I think Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett would help him. And with such a glaring need at center, come on, 100% has the potential to be a top 5 pick in this draft. I think the Raptors end up going with Kaman Malawach out of Duke. The next pick, the Utah Jazz. I think Utah Jazz is another team that maybe drafting off potential. With Walker Kessler being, is he your long-term center if you don't want to pay him the massive contract he wants? I think you do. You have Larry Markkinen, the veteran piece on. He's not a veteran. He's 28, but one of the older guys on this team. Is he part of your plans too? He didn't play great this year, and his contract is huge, so you probably want to look to sell him. But I think VJ Edgecombe, it's just an elite two-way player, monster athlete, can hit threes, defends 1 through 5. He has the potential to be one of the best two-way players, not in the league, but coming out of college, freshman, 19 years old, crazy potential, already has a very high floor. Next up was the 6th overall pick. The Hornets fall a bit. You need that connecting piece alongside LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. You don't have that long-term partner, but alongside LaMelo Ball in that guard position. But also, with Mark Williams' health scare, do you want him to be your long-term center? Tajon Salon did not look great as a rookie year at all. While he was a developmental pick, I don't know how confident you are in him. And I think between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, Trey Johnson is just that ultimate connecting piece. This team needs people who can create their own shot. LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller are basically the only two people for the majority of the year who could create their own shot. And you just saw LaMelo Ball hucking up crazy shots, and his efficiency was terrible last year, just because no one else on this team could do anything. It was a bad team last year. And I think Trey Johnson, a three-way scorer, while you do have your defensive questions, Charlotte just needs playmakers, people who can do stuff with the ball in their hands, and I think Trey Johnson, an elite scorer, top 3, if not the best three-point shooter in this class. And yeah, he has the potential to just be an elite shot maker on the next level. With his 7th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans are up. So this is interesting. Was traded Brandon Ingram this trade deadline. He definitely have a need in the wing position. DeJounte Murray, that does not look like a good trade in hindsight. With him being injured all year, how confident are you that he's your franchise point guard? Or alongside the Zion Williamson timeline, how confident are you that Zion Williamson is going to be on this team long term? I think there's just a lot of questions. Is Yves Missy, well, he was really good his rookie year and great value. Do you want him to be your long-term center as well? I think there's a lot of places this team could go. And while Kasparis Yakuchonis struggled later on in the season, I think he just has the potential to be such an elite court runner and point guard in the league. Great court vision. While his struggles shooting the ball were very apparent, I think that can definitely develop. He has good technique. There's not going down later on this season. And 6'6", 200 pounds. Great frame for a starting point guard. 15 points, 4.7 assists, 5.7 rebounds. He's a really good player. How confident are you that the shot can develop? And also his defense is a little questionable. But at 6'6", I think he could be a great guard defender. Will that shot ever truly develop? But I think this team does have a need at point guard. I don't think you're confident DeJounte Murray to be able to stay healthy and be a consistent player for you. And you just need consistent players. I think Kasparis has the opportunity to be a game changer in the league. And now number 8, the Oklahoma City Thunder managed to get the Philadelphia pick. And I think that is really interesting. The Thunder team is so young, so good. But this team's going to get really expensive, and you need good rookies on this team. Could use more shooting. They could just use another really good player. They're a win-now team, obviously. And I think Con Knipple, he's played on a winning team. Obviously, such a valuable player for Duke this year. There's nothing you really need to fix with him going into the league. He's already such a well-polished player, plays hard defense, possibly the best shooter in this class alongside Trey Johnson and another Duke player we'll get to later. Maybe questions if his defense in college will translate to the NBA, if he can guard some of those wings that he'll be matched up with. But an elite shooter, plays hard, dives for balls. He fits what the Thunder need. And this Thunder team is just so scary if they get the Sixers pick. And if the Sixers lose this pick, I mean, what is their future looking like? You really begin to wonder. It's scary for sure. It's scary. And now it's the 9th overall pick. The San Antonio Spurs are on the board. And this is a really interesting pick. Concanoopel, great fit. This team really needs shooting. De'Aaron Fox not being the most consistent three-point shooter. Stephon Castle really struggled with his three-point shot. Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson. I mean, a lot of inconsistent shooters on this team for sure. And I think that's the major need. And I think Asa Newell out of Georgia has the potential to be an elite stretch four alongside Wemby. And that shooting duo, I think Wemby can really help him on the defensive end. He's already solid on the defensive end. And I think he can be a great stretch four, really score for this team. This team needs shooting, and I think his shot can really develop. And yeah, they've been looking for the four to play alongside Victor Wembanyama, and I think Asa Newell could definitely be the long-term option there. Just incredible potential. And with the 10th pick, the Houston Rockets are on the board, and I think this is an interesting pick. I mean, this team is so young, so good. I think this could be a pick they definitely look to trade away, just because of how many young players. But with how expensive this team's going to get, when you have to pay Amen Thompson, you need to pay Alprince and Şengün, you need to pay Jalen Green, you need to pay Reed Shepherd. I mean, I think this is a really interesting spot to be. And I do think they end up, I don't think using Amen Thompson will be a true point guard. Reed Shepherd could be a true point guard. Maybe you try going a point guard here. But also, behind Alprince and Şengün, who do you think your center is going to be? Steven Adams he's so old. And you don't really have a great center behind Alprince and Şengün. And also, do you trust Alprince and Şengün to be like your star center? He's been so good, but I don't think he necessarily has to be in their long-term plans. And I think that is why they end up going Derek Queen out of Maryland was the 10th overall pick. Such a good offensive weapon. 9 rebounds, 16.5 assists, 52%. He's just such an elite offensive weapon. While his defense is probably still a big question, can that ever develop? This Houston Rockets team is just so great on that side of the floor. I think they could certainly cover up some of his defensive lapses he has at times. His offense and his shooting could be to put to great use for this Rockets team that pretty badly needs it right now. But obviously, this team is already so elite. And just adding a player like Derek Queen. I mean, the Suns pick is just, I mean, it could end up being a really high pick in this draft. With the 11th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers are on the board. And I think this is a really interesting place to be. I mean, you got Jeremiah Fears on the board, but do you need a true point guard when you have Scoot Henderson? Definitely showed a lot of flashes in year number 2. Maybe you need... This team's just looking so young, so great. Maybe they had some questionable coaching choices this year. I think the pick here will be Colin Murray Boyles. And this guy is just so good. The dog offensively. Well, I don't know if that shot is ever going to develop. I mean, if it does, he has the potential to be like a top 5 player in this class. But just questions. I mean, he did not shoot it at all in South Carolina. But you could just see the impact he had on the floor. South Carolina was the worst team in the SEC this year. And a major part was when Colin Murray Boyles was off the floor, they were absolutely horrible. Donovan Clingan and Colin Murray Boyles definitely have the potential to be one of the best front court defensive duos in the next 5 or 10 years if they stay together. And I just love this fit in Portland. I know the Miami Heat are on the board, and I think this is just a no-brainer for them. This pick is also interesting because it is lottery protected. But with the Heat in the play-in tournament, maybe they're hoping to lose the 2 games because even if they do make it out of the play-in tournament, they're going to be facing the Cavs in round 1. And is that really a series that the Heat or the Celtics. But is that really a series the Heat think they can win? I mean, I think you'd rather lose and be able to get this draft pick. And Jeremiah Fears falls to the 12th overall pick. An absolute no-brainer for the Miami Heat. Jeremiah Fears was elite for Oklahoma. This Oklahoma team wasn't great, but a major part why they made the tournament as a 9 seed was because of Jeremiah Fears. Just an elite point guard. Very nice shot. Good playmaker. Good court vision. Just finish. Again, maybe his defense is a little bit of a question, but it was very good at Oklahoma. And you saw in that game versus UConn, Jeremiah Fears was just unstoppable in that game. And the Heat, I don't think you want Tyler Hero to be your long-term point guard. Terry Rozier is just unplayable. And he's not in their future at all. And yeah, I think Jeremiah Fears has the potential to be a great point guard in this league. Only 19 years old for a Heat team that really needs a true person that can run the court. Jeremiah Fears falls to number 12, and it's just an instant pickup for the Miami Heat. And now with the 13th pick, the Chicago Bulls are on the board. And they have so many guards on this team. Nikola Vucevic is not going to be on this team for long. I think you definitely need a big man. I don't think there's a lot of big men after the big two of Derek Queen and Kamon Malawach. I don't think there's another big man you really want to reach for. I mean, how many of these guards are long? I don't think Lonzo Ball is a long-term option. I mean, the way Josh Giddey plays, I think he certainly could be, but I don't know for sure if they want him to be the true point guard. Kobe White looked elite this year, but do you want him to be your true point guard either? And even if you do want one of them, I think they're definitely going to do a lot of shopping of their guards. And Chase Richardson, just an elite combo guard, 6'3", 12 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 49% for the field. Great shot, which I think the Bulls could use. While he is not a position of need, I think the Bulls will begin to start dumping these guards. Really has the potential. Just being an elite shot maker, gets the rim. Yeah, I think he's the pick here at 13 for the Chicago Bulls. Now, with the last pick of the lottery, the Atlanta Hawks have the 14th pick. Trae Young, do you think he's your long-term point guard? There's been a lot of talks about him getting traded. I don't think Clint Capella, last year of his deal, he's not part of this long-term option. Karis LeVert is on his last year of the deal. Onyeka Okongwu has been a great center, but do you really want him to be a permanent big man alongside Trae Young? And then you drafted Zachary Richardson, who had a lot of flashes this year, and I think can develop to just be a great wing defender, make tough shots. He had a 38-point game against Brooklyn. And they also got Dyson Daniels, just an elite defender. Jalen Johnson, another lanky wing. And I think they might keep on drafting those lanky defensive wings alongside Trae Young, and I think that's Noah Essingay from France. So he played for the Radio Farm Ulm team alongside Ben Seraph, and just a great cutter. Really good in this. I mean, he struggled with his 3-ball, but his corner threes looked great. A really good cutter. I think good defensively. I mean, 6'8", 194, very skinny, but I think if he builds out his frame alongside Trae Young, he could be another one of those wings that the Atlanta Hawks have been looking for in the draft every single year. And I think he just fits the Atlanta Hawk build so perfectly. And even with his struggles, I think his potential is just sky high. And builds a French duo with Zachary Richardson in Atlanta. So I think that will be the pick there at 14. I hope you enjoyed the mock draft, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.